Hey guys, it's Casey. Welcome to Filmsday, Friday, the day where I review movies instead of books. Today's pick is Mad Max Fury Road, which I saw in 3D because I didn't really have any other option. But even though I don't really like 3D because it gives me headaches and makes me usually kind of nauseous, I think this one was a really good one to see in 3D if you're into that, because the special effects are really cool and there wasn't too much like flying at your face, but it still made you feel like you were in the cars with the characters, which is really, really awesome. Okay, so the premise of the movie is that there's this post-apocalyptic world where humanity has, I don't know, used up all its resources, and so there's this desert wasteland and all the water is controlled by this one fat guy and his slaves, who he calls war boys, and then he defends it using all these souped up trucks controlled by the war boys who have no respect for their own lives. Basically, everyone is sick, so everyone kind of has this idea of death as being released from this world. So their life on Earth right now is their half-life, and when they die, they will go to Valhalla to live the eternity life or the better life or something. So there's lots of people throwing themselves under cars and sacrificing themselves for the cause as they're brainwashed by their dictator. I haven't seen any of the other movies in the franchise, so I don't know if that's explained in the other movies or if it's like singular to this one, but there's a lot of really interesting themes going on about totalitarianism and about water conservation, which is really important right now, but also like brainwashing and abuse. So this ruler, dictator guy has a harem of women who are his breeders. Yeah, that's pretty gross. And it seems like his goal is to produce healthy offspring. So he's trying to have progeny that are not sick, because everyone's sick. They've all got weird tumors growing on their necks and they're all like heinously pale and dying, and they need to capture people and use them as blood donors. So at the start of the film, Mad Max is overtaken by a bunch of these guys in their souped up trucks. He's kidnapped into their camp where they hang him upside down and use him as a living blood bag for these sick war boys. I'd say the main character in the movie really isn't Mad Max though. The main character is Furiosa, who is this kick-ass lady who like runs off with the convoy of these trucks. And in the dictator's pursuit of her, the war boy who's hooked up to the blood bag that is Mad Max takes him on the truck with him in pursuit of Furiosa when they find out that she's gone missing and she's gone rogue. And she's stolen the dictator's property of his breeder. So basically, Furiosa has kidnapped the dictator's harem of wives and run off with them, which is the real premise of the movie. So the movie is not car chases and explosions. I mean, it is. There are a lot of car chases and explosions, and it is awesome. But the real premise of the movie is ladies saving ladies. Ladies saving themselves. Ladies saving the world. Basically just all the kick-ass ladies you can imagine. Furiosa is disabled. She only has one arm, but she does all these crazy stunts and she's super badass, and like she drives this war rig and everyone has all this respect for her, and she's like really like high up in this dictatorship weird government structure. Like she's one of these trusted people. She drives what's called a war rig, which is how she is able to kidnap the wives and then escape with them. And the whole movie is her escaping with the wives and being pursued by the dictator. Mad Max becomes Furiosa's kind of unwitting sidekick, when he ends up in her rig when he's trying to escape, but then he finds himself in the middle of this plot to rescue the harem of wives who don't want to be property anymore. And that's basically the resounding message of the whole film, is we are not objects, coming from the women, which is amazingly progressive. Despite the film being rated R, I don't remember a single instance of just like excessive nudity or sexualized bodies. Even though there's like this one place where a woman is being used as bait and she's naked, they never show anything. It's made clear that she's naked from faraway shots and over the shoulder shots. It's quite obvious that she's in control of her nudity because she is using herself as bait, and And then there's all these kick-ass older ladies who come in. And so we have badass disabled ladies, because you got Furiosa with one arm, and then you have badass old ladies and badass young ladies. You got badass pregnant ladies and women standing up for each other and for themselves and doing all sorts of awesome stunts. And they all have knowledge and value, and they're all realized characters. And I think there are more female characters in this movie than there are male characters who speak, which is amazing. The film passes the Bechdel test several times over, which is really excellent for a film with very little dialogue. It is like mostly explosions and car chases and ripping people's faces off and, you know, so it's a kick-ass action film with a good message, and also just tons of kick-ass ladies all over the place, which is amazing. I was thoroughly entertained throughout the whole film. I am going to see it again, probably more than once, because there's just so much packed into 2 hours that you can't get it all. Like, explosions can be a little distracting at times because you're like, wait, what's happening with this person? What's happening with that person? But there's so many awesome things going on, like realistic depictions of abuse survivors and huge amounts of character growth. So we get one character who overcomes his brainwashing to help the women, and you get characters who, like Max, who learn to trust again, and tons and tons of fully realized lady characters who are just badass all over the place and doing everything the men can do, and sometimes while pregnant or with one arm. That's impressive. I feel like they could have used the Mad Max character a little more, because while I'm in love with Furiosa, I am enamored by her character. I want to know everything about her. I wish she had had her own movie, and then Mad Max had his own movie, because, like, you didn't really get much of him. He was just sort of taken along for the ride with her character. He ends up being important at the end, and he kind of just, like, drifts away again, but, like, I feel like my only complaint is that they didn't use him to his fullest potential. When we're talking about strong female characters, this is the kind of movie we're talking about as feminists. We want women who are not just used as props. We are not objects. We are people. We are not your breeders. We are not your suppliers of milk. The only nudity in the film, besides that one instance of the bait girl, is a row of women being milked, and it's shown as this disgusting process where women are being used to feed people, and it's like they're treated like cattle, and it's gross, and it's depicted as gross. Like, it's not sexualized at all. Like, yeah, they're boobs, but they're not like sexualized boobs, which in a film rated R, they're almost always sexualized female bodies, and I didn't really get that from this film, which is entirely refreshing. They were taking, like, creep body shots or, like, slow motion breast jiggles. Like, there was none of that. It was all just ladies kicking ass and taking names and protecting each other and standing up for themselves and being people and talking to each other about things that aren't men. And there are no romances. No romances. There's, like, one flirtation between two minor characters, but, like, no big on-screen kiss, no random sex scenes. There was nothing to dehumanize the female characters. There was nothing to make them the object of desire except for them being the property of the dictator, which is shown again and again to be a bad thing. It's not this thing where they're the prize, they're the object. No, they're escaping from that, which makes it an amazing film. It was amazing. It was fantastic. I've never seen anything like it. It's a film really for everybody, because there's, like, car chases and explosions and then just, like, kick-ass fight scenes, and oh my god, it was so good. Do I recommend it? Yeah, I recommend it. I recommend seeing it multiple times. I'm gonna go see it in Real D after having seen it in 3D. I want to see what the difference is, because it was that good. I want to see it a lot.